Thank you for being the VIP for today's recording session. Hi, my name is Seth.
I am Georgia.
Fantastic. Thank you for joining us today, Georgia. What is your official role here at Ranken, Jordan?
Yeah, so I am one of the 3 registered dietitians here at Ranken, Jordan.
There are just so many different moving parts of this hospital. Tell us a little bit more about what it means to be a dietitian and what your background is.
Yeah. So nutrition is kind of a field that I feel like a lot of people don't know are in healthcare. And to become a registered dietitian, you have to get your bachelor's, and now it's going to be required to get your master's as well. You have to do a 1,200-hour clinical dietetic internship where you get lots of clinical hours and clinical experience. And we also kind of dabble in the world of food service, in the world of public health, in the world of private practice. So it's kind of a very diverse field, but we do have a very, very heavy presence in healthcare, which I'm a little biased, but I think that's really important and great because nutritional status is so important in overall recovery.
We're glad that you're biased towards that. I'm sure that guided you to, being here and kind of joining our team. This is a great chance for, us to kind of get to know you. So kind of how did you find out about the hospital?
Yeah, so I was on the job hunt and my friend told me about this position here at Ranken Jordan because she had been a student here. I looked more into what Ranken Jordan was, applied, interviewed, and absolutely loved it here. When they offered me the job, I was like, absolutely.
Kudos to that friend for kind of helping her.
I know.
Amazing for that. Are you local? Are you from the St. Louis area?
I am originally from Rhode Island, actually, but I went to SLU. Well, my mom is from St. Louis, so I have a lot of family in the area, and she went to SLU. My grandparents went to SLU, so I have a lot of history there. Loved SLU when I visited and ended up, meeting my husband there, and his family is from Cape Girardeau area. We actually did end up moving to New York City for a year after we got married. And that was kind of the moment that I realized the East Coast isn't really my home anymore. And I do have a lot of loved ones there and a lot of friends, but the Midwest just feels so much more like home. So we returned to St. Louis and we've been happily here ever since.
She may be in Georgia. She's the Missouri girl.
Yeah.
Well, fantastic. And I'm glad that kind of your diverse background, not only just in healthcare specifically, but with where you've been geographically, probably informs how you do your work and the kind of insight that you bring to your specific area of study. So I'm curious, how you can speak to that. So kind of what are the ways kind of that your experiences and your background, your particular interest, how do those inform how you enter your practice as a dietitian here at Ranken Jordan?
Ooh, that is a really good question. Well, professionally, I actually have a nutrition private practice as well, and I absolutely love doing that. So I have both these worlds where I'm in the clinical world, but I'm also in the kind of private sector, more counseling world, and it's great to have both of those because they both just fill my cup a whole lot. Having that perfect balance has been really great. In terms of other hobbies, I love skiing. I love playing tennis. I love jogging.
So there's a thing in your hobbies or physical activity. Well, speaking as a person who just loves to be on the couch eating a lot, I'm insecure about my hobby. So I think I need to get out more.
No, I've got plenty of those hobbies too. I'm a huge Netflix and Hulu watcher.
So speaking to your specific work here, Ranken Jordan, what does a day in the life of, one of our dietitians look like? Yeah.
So a day in the life is really exciting and great here, fulfilling. I come in, kind of review patient charts, decide, who I'm going to write notes on for the day. I'll go and see each of those kiddos and talk to their parents if they're in the area. I'll talk to kind of the nurses, see if, anything's been going on that's nutritionally relevant, seeing how the kids are tolerating their feeds because a lot of kids here are on tube feeds, see how they're eating and drinking if they are taking food by mouth. I go to rounds with the MDs and NPs, and those are quite extensive, and we chat for over an hour about the kids each day. So that's a really great collaborative experience. We as dietitians always take time to step away from our desk for lunch because, practice what we preach.
I love how disparate all your different tasks are. It's not just you're sitting at a computer all day or you're just, in meetings all day. It's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
You actually get around a lot. You need to wrap with different departments a lot. That's fantastic. I never would have known. So then you mentioned your lunch, and this is just for the sake of curiosity for me. Have you eaten lunch already today?
I did.
Okay, so now I guess pop quiz. What did you have for lunch? What does the dietitian eat on a Wolf Friday for lunch?
Well, today I actually treated myself to some pepperoni pizza.
That's the exact answer that I prepared. And balance is crucial. Sometimes hard food is also necessary.
Exactly. And like earlier this week, I had salmon and pesto pasta and, salads and falafel for dinner. But it's all about balance, and I really love pizza. And so I had some pepperoni pizza. I'm a purist of my pizza. And I just do regular, extra gluten flour and pepperoni and cheese. And
Nice. You're making me hungry now. I always kind of get a little bit disheartened as a foodie. I know people use that term all the time. When people just kind of cut out different meals entirely and say, this is...
I'm a very all foods fit dietitian. So I strongly support the all foods fit mentality, getting rid of that all or nothing thinking, and incorporating balance throughout your day and your week.
You mentioned that earlier with kind of how you were talking about the private practice and also your work here at Ranken, Jordan. Balance is important. Of course, certain things influence each other, but making sure that like you're cognizant of that influence and making sure that you're not kind of, one-sided in terms of where you pour your energy is crucial. So I'm glad that you knew that because, especially when it comes to your diet and exercise, it's all about striking a healthy balance for each person. I think there's a lot of people out there that are like, go on this diet or go on this fad that takes a week or whatever, as opposed to just how am I spreading out my meals and like watching certain kinds of parts of my nutrition and making sure that, I'm getting a little bit of everything as my body needs it accordingly.
Yeah.
So then kind of speaking more to what you know about the hospital and like the patients that we serve here, what are specific trends that you notice in terms of like what appeals more to the kids or like what are kind of reoccurring things just from your experiences you're like, oh, this is something that most people would have thought about, something that I didn't know before I started doing this job.
Yeah, it can get pretty complex because we do have kids that are, getting tubes or they are getting their nutrition through their blood. And then, of course, we have people who are by mouth. So lots of different sources of nutrition going around here. And then we have those kids who have some sort of dietary restrictions based on kind of their health conditions. So it's a really interesting and excitingly challenging experience to kind of play with all of that and find a balance, especially with a kid that has kind of all of those things going on.
Since we treat such medically complex kiddos, no one who's even comfortable in their field is immediately comfortable at this specific hospital.
Yes.
Because it takes everything that you learn, almost flips it on its head and then like adds 15 different elements that kind of like, are new factors. But I think that we are really critical with the people that we bring to our team because they need to be able to be flexible and accommodating to those new factors. And from what I've heard, you do a fantastic job. So that's amazing. So then kind of, this is wrapping up the conversation, but I was just kind of curious, what's kind of like one thing that grounds you, that keeps you motivated to kind of do the mission and continue to do the work that you do here? What is your center, if you could name it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think just working at Ranken Jordan, the environment is so wonderful and the mission is so wonderful. And I really, really see that each person working here puts the patient first. And that is something that I really value. Having come from other places that have, put the bottom line first or put the business first, I think the fact that Ranken Jordan really values patient care and patient quality of life and patient well-being and well-roundedness is something that's really, really unique to this facility. And I love to be able to be a part of that as a dietitian.
The environment of putting the patient first and being selfless is built by individuals who make that their core mission also. So I see you contributing and I try to do my best too from the media and marketing group. From everyone that I've spoken with, you're such a fantastic and welcome addition to the Ranken Jordan family. So I just want to give you the thanks because I don't think I've heard anyone say anything close to bad about you, which makes me so happy.
That's good to hear.
Because I can't imagine the burdens that you carry day in and day out. But I know that, speaking to all the patients and their families, little things like that, it really does matter and it does resonate. So thanks for all that you do. And thank you again for making the time to chat with us today.
Yeah, of course. It's been great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Bye.